Welcome to the Fort Bend County and Texas Department of Transportation Houston District's public meeting for the proposed Farm to Market 521 widening project with limits from County Road 56 to State Highway 6. This is a pre-recorded presentation. My name is Peter Clay, representing the Fort Bend County project team, and I would like to welcome you and thank you for participating in this public meeting. From this point forward in the presentation, the project will be referred to verbally as the FM 521 Widening Project. This is the second public meeting being conducted for the FM 521 Widening Project. The presentation is available for viewing starting on September 27, 2022. During the virtual meeting, you may pause the presentation and navigate forward or backward using your video player. If you experience technical difficulties with the virtual public meeting, please call Mr. Kevin Minio, the project manager, at 713-869-3433. You may also request special accommodation assistance accessing public meeting information and materials and language interpretation needs other than English and Spanish. For general questions, contact information will be shown again toward the end of this public meeting. If members of the public wish to submit a comment to be part of the official record of this public meeting, they may do so in the ways outlined at the end of this presentation. This virtual public meeting is being held in conjunction with an in-person public meeting, which will be held on Thursday, September 29, 2022, from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Heritage Rose Elementary School cafeteria. The information presented in the virtual public meeting and the in-person public meeting is identical, and the opportunities to comment do not differ. Elected official letters were emailed and mailed on September 7, 2022. Notices for this public meeting were published in the Fort Bend Herald and La Información on September 8, 2022. Notices were mailed to adjacent property owners and local stakeholders on September 8, 2022. Postcards were mailed to area residents on September 9, 2022. Information was posted to the Fort Bend County website on September 19, 2022. Information was posted to the TxDOT website on September 14, 2022. Flyers were posted at local businesses and community centers on September 14, 2022. Changeable message boards with meeting information were also placed along FM 521 from September 19 to September 29, 2022. The meeting was also advertised on social media, including Facebook and Twitter. The FM 529 Widening Project may receive federal funds, and due to the federal component, the county is required to assess the potential environmental effects of the proposed project in accordance with federal standards. The process that is followed is called the National Environmental Policy Act process, otherwise known as NEPA. The NEPA process provides analyses of the potential impacts to the natural and man-made environment and helps the decision maker to make an informed decision on whether or not to proceed with the project. On December 9, 2019, TxDOT received a signed Memorandum of Understanding from the Federal Highway Administration that permits TxDOT to assume responsibility from the Federal Highway Administration for reviewing and approving certain assigned NEPA projects. This review and approval process applies to this project. In this presentation, I will describe the proposed FM 521 widening project, provide an overview of the environmental studies being performed, explain the next steps in the project development process, and outline the methods for submitting comments. This public meeting is being held to engage with the public on the preferred project alternative that has been selected based on prior public feedback and gather additional public input. You are encouraged to submit comments after reviewing the meeting materials and listening to this presentation. The FM 521 project extends from County Road 56 to State Highway 6 in Fort Bend County. The proposed project is approximately 5 miles long. Land use in the general area is primarily agricultural and residential, with limited commercial development. The project proposes to reconstruct and widen the existing roadway from a 2-lane roadway to a 4-lane curb and gutter roadway with a 16-foot wide non-continuous raised grassy median. A 10-foot wide side path would be constructed along the east side of FM 521 for pedestrian and bicycle use. Traffic signals and left and right turn lanes would be added at intersections and other designated locations. Please refer to the schematic, which is included in the public meeting materials for specific locations. The project includes replacing the Briscoe Canal and Julif Canal bridges and constructing a grade-separated bridge at the BNSF Railroad crossing. The project would also include the construction of new detention ponds. The project is needed because of limited mobility in the corridor, anticipated future population growth and increase in traffic, and the current two-lane undivided roadway does not meet design or safety standards. The purpose of the FM 521 widening project is to improve mobility, reduce regional congestion, and bring the facility up to current design standards. Let's talk about daily traffic volumes along FM 521, what it is today, and what is projected for the future. Average daily traffic, or ADT, represents the traffic volume that results from dividing a traffic count obtained during a given time period by the number of days in that time period, or the average traffic volume per day. Based on preliminary traffic data, the 2024 ADT along FM 521 within the project limits is 27,200 vehicles per day, or VPD. By the year 2044, traffic volumes on FM 521 are projected to be 48,900 vehicles per day, which is an 80% increase from 2024. With no improvements, the current capacity of FM 521 would not be adequate to accommodate projected traffic volumes in 2044, and traffic congestion would increase. Fort Bend County initiated a feasibility study for FM 521 in March of 2019 due to the increased number of planned developments along the corridor. The study included data collection and stakeholder coordination to help determine what improvements were needed within the project limits. The feasibility study concluded that the corridor is rapidly developing and the need for additional capacity is becoming critical. The project team has evaluated environmental constraints and analyzed potential environmental impacts. Constraints such as water bodies, potential wetlands, floodplains, gas stations, and railroads are shown on the environmental constraints map included with the public meeting materials. As previously mentioned, the need and purpose of the project and preliminary schematic have been developed. This brings us to today's public meeting. Input from the virtual public meeting held in July 2021 was used to determine a preferred alternative and further develop the project. Development of a schematic and environmental documentation will continue, followed by an environmental decision by TxDOT. A typical section is a technical term for the roadway design. The existing FM 521 from County Road 56 to State Highway 6 includes one 12-foot wide travel lane in each direction and 8-foot wide outside shoulders. Along the west side of FM 521, between State Highway 6 and Fend Road, there is a Union Pacific Railroad track that diverts away from FM 521 at Fend Road. The typical existing right-of-way width is approximately 120 feet. The remainder of the existing FM 521 roadway includes one 12-foot wide travel lane in each direction and 8-foot wide outside shoulders. The typical existing right-of-way width is approximately 120 feet. The proposed project would include two new canal bridges. These typical sections would have two 12-foot wide travel lanes in each direction, a 16-foot wide continuous raised concrete median, and a 14-foot wide side path separated from traffic by a concrete traffic rail. The Briscoe Canal Bridge would not require additional right-of-way. The Julif Canal Bridge would require an additional 54 feet of right-of-way, as shown in the proposed typical section. The proposed railroad bridge typical section will be discussed a few slides later. The project team does not anticipate needing additional right-of-way in the area between State Highway 6 and Masterson Street. As shown on the slide, in this area, the typical section includes two 12-foot wide travel lanes in each direction, a 16-foot wide non-continuous raised grassy median, and a 10-foot wide side path to accommodate pedestrians and bicyclists. Left and right turn lanes would be provided at designated locations. Again, please refer to the schematic, which is included in the public meeting materials for specific locations. For the remainder of the project length, the typical section generally includes two 12-foot wide travel lanes in each direction, a 16-foot wide non-continuous raised grassy median, and a 10-foot wide side path to accommodate pedestrians and bicyclists. Left and right turn lanes would be provided at designated locations. The proposed roadway right-of-way width would range between 148 feet and 183 feet. This would require an additional 28 to 63 feet of proposed new right-of-way on the west side of FM 521. Here is a screenshot of the legend for the schematics that you can find on the website. These legends are included on each page of the schematics, so you can reference it as you review them. The screenshot shows the colors that fill the proposed design. These colors identify the limits and major aspects of the project. Let's walk through them. The yellow color identifies the proposed concrete pavement on FM 521, including main travel lanes, intersections, and driveways. Turquoise blue indicates the proposed access road locations. Bridge structures are shown in red, while the at-grade railroad crossing is shown in green. The gray colors identify proposed raised medians, and pink indicates the location of the side path. New traffic signal locations are designated by small traffic signal icons. Arrows indicate the direction of traffic flow. Note that the black solid lines outline the proposed edge of pavement, thin black dashed lines show existing right-of-way, and orange dashed lines indicate the proposed right-of-way. Thick pink lines denote locations of proposed retaining walls. Lastly, the schematics also show proposed detention pond locations as solid blue features. This graphic shows a portion of the schematic for the proposed project. A full version of the schematic is available on the project webpage. The June 2021 public meeting presented 4 alternatives at the railroad crossing. The design of the preferred alternative includes a bridge or grade separation over the railroad tracks to increase safety and increase mobility. On average, trains currently cross the roadway 27 times a day, causing traffic delays, not only for commuting vehicles, but also for emergency response vehicles. With the ongoing growth of population, schools, and businesses, the delays caused by train crossings would only increase. The preferred alternative includes a 4-lane divided roadway bridge that would replace the existing at-grade roadway. The bridge would cross the existing railroad with 2 12-foot wide travel lanes in each direction and a 16-foot wide raised concrete median. The design includes a side path that would be located on the bridge structure, and it would be separated from the traffic lanes by a concrete traffic rail. In order to maintain access to the businesses and property owners on the east side, a proposed at-grade access road parallel to FM 521 is shown in turquoise blue. The access road would terminate with a cul-de-sac under the bridge. The City of Arcola wastewater treatment plant driveway, shown to the right of the detention pond, would also be realigned as part of this preferred alternative. The proposed FM 521 project would include 6 new detention ponds. A drainage study was completed to determine the number, size, and locations of the detention ponds to be used for increased roadway runoff. Proposed detention ponds shown on the map include 2 ponds located on either side of the roadway near the Briscoe Canal, 1 pond located south of Scanlon Road on the east side of FM 521, 1 pond located north of Southern Colony Avenue on the east side of FM 521, 1 pond located north of Miller Road on the west side of FM 521, 1 pond located north of County Road 56 on the west side of FM 521. Approximately 43 acres are needed for the proposed detention ponds. A warrant study is required to determine locations for new traffic signals. The warrant study completed for this project proposes adding 5 new traffic signals within the project limits. Proposed locations for these signals are Masterson Street, Glendale Lakes Drive, Sienna Point Caldwell Ranch, Southern Colony Road, and Juliff Manville Road. The existing signals at Fenn Road and Sienna Parkway would be replaced. Turn lanes would be constructed at each signalized intersection. The project team has identified and evaluated potential environmental impacts that could occur as a result of constructing the proposed improvements. Resources that are under review include community impacts, environmental justice, water resources, historic resources, archaeological resources, hazardous materials, biological resources, and air quality. The project would be designed to avoid or minimize impacts to the greatest extent practicable. Once completed, technical reports documenting the analysis and conclusions of these studies will be available for review upon request. Existing and predicted traffic noise levels were modeled using the approved Federal Highway Administration, or FHWA, traffic noise modeling software to determine if any of the modeled receivers could have noise impacts above the FHWA's actionable levels. Based on the modeling conducted, predicted noise levels at 9 of the 17 modeled receivers were identified as impacted, including 7 residences and outdoor gathering areas at 2 churches. Noise abatement measures were considered for each location with predicted actionable noise impacts. As per policy, the following noise abatement measures were considered: traffic management, alteration of horizontal and/or vertical alignments, acquisition of undeveloped property to act as a buffer zone, and the construction of noise barriers. Potential construction of and modeling of noise barriers was the only noise abatement measure found to be practicable for this project. In order to include noise barriers for a proposed project, noise modeling needs to show, per federal regulations, that noise barriers meet both noise reduction and cost criteria. The draft traffic noise technical report concluded that noise barriers would not meet both the noise reduction and cost criteria and are not recommended to be included in the project. A total of approximately 65 acres of additional right-of-way would be required for the proposed project. No residential displacements are anticipated. One potential displacement of a commercial structure associated with Campbell Concrete and Materials has been identified. Fort Bend County offers relocation counseling and financial assistance to residences and businesses that are displaced by the acquisition of highway right-of-way in accordance with the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970. Please feel free to contact Mr. Guy Matula, Special Projects Coordinator, Right-of-Way, Fort Bend County Engineering at 281-633-7529 or by email at fbcproject-fm521south@binkleybarfield.com with any right-of-way acquisition questions. This slide shows the location of the commercial structure potentially impacted by the new right-of-way for the proposed FM521 widening. The structure appears to be used for storage and is associated with Campbell Concrete and Materials located at the southeast corner of FM 521 and Masterson Street. The Houston-Galveston Area Council's Regional Transportation Plan, or RTP, identifies the region's transportation needs, goals, and policies over the next 25 years. The Regional Transportation Plan sets the framework for a balanced and forward-thinking system with the identification of major investment strategies supporting traditional modes, such as roadway improvements, and alternative modes, such as mass transit, bicycle, and pedestrian facilities. With the assistance of transportation planners, engineers, elected officials, and the public, the Regional Transportation Plan helps identify transportation facilities and services needed to support the region's anticipated growth using available resources. The proposed project is anticipated to cost approximately $76 million, but is currently not funded. The project is programmed to begin construction in 2028, however, could be moved forward if funding is identified. We want to highlight the estimated project timeline. Look for the pink "We Are Here" arrow at the top of the slide. This public meeting is being held to present the preferred alternative and gather public and stakeholder input. After the comment period closes, Fort Bend County and TxDOT will review the comments received and prepare a public meeting summary report, including responses to all comments received during the comment period. The summary report will be posted to the project website approximately 3 months after the close of the comment period. The next steps include refining the schematic and completing environmental studies. Provided the environmental documents and process are approved, the project would then move into detailed design, and right-of-way acquisition could begin once funding is identified. Construction is anticipated to begin in the fall of 2028 if funding is secured. The project team anticipates that construction would take approximately 2 years. The project website contains all materials presented in this public meeting, including this presentation in both English and Spanish, exhibit boards, a comment card, a project fact sheet, schematic layout for the proposed alignment, proposed typical sections, and the environmental constraints map. The schematic layout provides a more in-depth look at details such as existing and proposed right-of-way, side path, bridges, medians, and turn lanes. These files are large and may require more time to download than other project materials. Fort Bend County and TxDOT encourages you to review the materials posted on the public meeting website and to provide written comments. The comment form is located on the website. Comments must be received by email or mailed and postmarked by Friday, October 14, 2022, to be included in the official public meeting summary report. You may submit written comments in the following ways. At the in-person meeting, fill out the comment card and drop in the comment box. By email to fbcproject-fm521south@binkleybarfield.com. By mail to Kevin Minio, Project Manager, Binkley and Barfield, 1710 Seamist Drive, Houston, Texas 77008. Again, responses to comments received during the comment period will be included in the public meeting summary report that will be posted on the project website approximately 3 months after the end of the comment period. The project website is www.fortbendcountytex.gov, keyword search FM521. Secondly, don't hesitate to contact us with any questions. Please feel free to contact the design consultant, Mr. Kevin Minio, Project Manager, Binkley and Barfield, Inc., at 713-869-3433 or by email at fbcproject-fm521south@binkleybarfield.com with any questions or comments. And don't forget to click on these links and follow us on the Fort Bend County Twitter page for ongoing road closures and construction updates. You can also keep up with Fort Bend County news on our Facebook page. November 7th, 2000 was the last deathless day on roadways in Texas. That means for nearly 22 years, at least one person has died every single day. We all have a part to play to change that. This message is that reminder to end the streak of deaths on Texas highways. We need drivers and passengers to act more responsibly and help us reach our goal of 0 deaths by 2050. Texans can play a major role in ending fatal crashes with a few simple driving habits. Wear seatbelts, drive the speed limit, put away the phone and other distractions, and never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So please, do your part and share this message with your friends and family. Thank you for participating in this public meeting. Please remember to submit your comments no later than Friday, October 14th, 2022, to be included in the official public meeting documentation.